Hey everyone, I'm Jude Hotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. We're going to pull some cards, look over the astrology and the chart for this weekend. This is the White Goddess Astrology Daily, and this is for this weekend for June 4th and 5th of 2022. I'm going to share the chart with you and we'll go into that. Let's see here. And so the sun is in Gemini, so we have really this mind energy, this thinking. This is about your perspective. You're growing a new perspective. You're deciding, what is the new way you're going to frame your life. But it's been coming up that we had this Mercury retrograde in Gemini at first and then back into Taurus, and now Mercury's, moving forward. It moved forward on Friday and is moving forward slowly, but it's in the high degrees of Taurus. And so it's thinking about our worth and our value and our abundance. And with the North Node being in Taurus here, it's the shadow of humanity, of money, is coming up. The shadow within humanity is coming up around abundance, around money. So you're seeing that everywhere. So be aware of what other people are projecting onto you about money, what you should do with money, or what the right thing is, or you shouldn't have this nice thing and then not pay this thing over here, or you shouldn't have debt, or you should have debt, or you whatever. It's like, what's right for your divine feminine truth about money, and also know that abundance is actually truth, and we are meant to live abundantly in this world, and we are on this awakened path, and we're meant to have the good, and we're meant for things to go well. I think that for most of humanity, we've spent so long in darkness that we don't know how to do it anymore, that we don't know how to trust it. We don't know that it's okay to trust it, that the other shoe's not going to drop, or that you can count on it, or to feel safe in the good. Like, I think that humanity looks for the bad because I don't think humanity feels safe in the good. I think the bad happened so much for so long that now individually and collectively in these different ways, humanity is like, this is what we have to heal next. And as the light goddess, you're a guide for the rest of humanity, right? And so for your audience and for your clients and your business, you're that guide and that example, and just for all the people in your life and who you're around, of like, I think that's part of what we are guiding people through at this moment, is showing like how to trust in the good, and that you can, and your individual journey with that, and that I think it is a journey. I think that it has felt safe in the wound, because it's not even that whole thing about like the hell you know versus the hell you don't. It's more just that it was like you knew what to do. But if you have good and then bad comes, will you know what to do? And during goddess culture times, fear was nearly eradicated. They didn't have weapons. They didn't fight off the Kurgans and the roaming bands of the dominator, roaming bands that came in and then eventually like changed the world over to this dominator culture for 5,000 years. So, and they killed the effeminate men. They took the effeminate men as slaves and workers, and they killed the men, and they took the women as slaves and turned them into sex slaves. Um and so when you have this peaceful egalitarian society that's worshiping the goddess, and everyone is living in harmony and pleasure and joy, and actually there's technology being created, all of our paved roads, indoor plumbing, um all of our art and architecture came from the goddess era, where we had an egalitarian society, we had partnership model between men and women, equality between men and women, fear was nearly eradicated, there was art and beauty and ceremony and ritual and reverence for the goddess and reverence for women. Because it was understood that women create life, that men and women come together to create life, but women bring life through. And so that was, since that was understood, um, it, women were revered and the goddess was worshipped. And it was this wasn't this death cult. It was the mother, it was the nurture, it was the love. It wasn't like, oh, the sin and the punishment and the fear, because that's what a lot of religion is: fear and sin and punishment, right? And so that's why so many people that are, call themselves spiritual, because they got that pushed upon them on religion. They know that that's not truth. That truth is love, that spirit is love. And so no matter what you call it, God, whatever, it's love. And we know that it's actually love. And so that fear is actually darkness, and it's shadow, and it's the unhealed, and it's the wound. And so I think this is so important, what we're doing right now in humanity. There's a trine between Pluto and the high degrees of Capricorn retrograde to Mercury, and communicating still about the shadow and about what needs healed. But I think what's happening now, we're in the sun and Gemini, Mercury is forward, that we're getting all the information and all the clarity around everything that we went through in the retrograde, to understand what we went through and to realize, like, oh, okay, this is unraveling things, getting clarity, getting insights, connecting dots, putting puzzle pieces together, and realizing like what's up for you right now that you're healing, what you've gained clarity on, and what can be really completed and healed from the past, and what maybe you're on the journey with at the moment. The moon is going to make a ton of aspects. It's definitely squaring Uranus today, Saturday, and will square Venus and Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, and is making trines to over to Chiron and Mars and Jupiter. And so this Leo moon is about our heart, and so that heart can feel really tender and raw and have a lot of emotions coming up, because they might not be the emotions, because when we get into our heart, it can feel vulnerable to be in our heart when that door opens, because we might have had a lot of shielding on our heart and a lot of walls, a lot of heart walls up. And we want to always be taking the heart walls down, but be using spiritual discernment, and like utilize our ego, the healthy ego, utilize our spiritual discernment. Who's a vibe match, who's not, who's sucking my energy, who's not. Where do I put a wall up? But I don't have to put a wall around the heart. You can put a wall, though, a boundary of your time and space, that you just don't be with that energy, and you don't let people drain your energy, and energy suckers, and people who court and try to do entities and exchange energies and stuff. You just don't have to participate in that. And so humanity is facing their shadow of the darkness. Scorpio is the darkness. Scorpio is the dark side of life. And so humanity is facing their shadow around the dark side of life. Porn, the debauchery of sex. Sex is sacred. And that doesn't mean that it can't be erotic, or it can't be, sexual, or that it has to be, that it has to be a certain way. But there's a difference between the lack of soul in porn and the objectification of women's bodies, and just making women a body part, and the way that sex is done, that's not for women at all, and the way it's shown, and also teaching men to like try to do that. Like, it's just completely is something, it's just one of the many areas of Scorpio that humanity is facing the shadow upon. The shadow of the patriarchy, the shadow of objectifying women, the shadow of valuing women only for their body, and women waking up that they were participating, doing the pictures on Instagram and whatever, of letting themselves be objectified and putting themselves out in the spigot. And maybe that's coming up for you because you let your mom walk all over you, and she's going to, and you just like invited her in to do it almost. Or some other people in your life, that your sister or somebody's always going to say some mean shit or some rude shit or whatever, and you just go into the relationship again, and just have them come over or call them up to see, so they can do it again. It's like, why are you doing that? Venus at home in Taurus is saying, choose what's of your highest value in this life right now, every single moment. There's no time to lose. You must choose what is of the highest value. Uranus is here in Taurus saying that we're not doing things the old way. It's not the Taurus of like the bling that's soulless. It's like, yeah, have nice things because you love it and you're embodied in your soul and in your heart, not because you think it's going to get you status or get you accepted with this group or that it makes you something. Like, no, that's not true self-worth, right? To get your self-worth from your possessions or from externals or from how you look, that's not true security at all. And that will leave you high and dry at some point. Um, and so Uranus here is saying, like, we're not doing anything the old way. Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus. Uranus doesn't like to be in fixed earth. Uranus is wild, quantum, changeable. It's unpredictability. It's just, it's awakening. It is uniqueness. It's innovation. It's different. It is just otherworldly. And here it is in fixed earth, but it is new earth. Uranus and Taurus is new earth. That's what we are building right now. And we are building up to 2032. We're building up to 2026 right now. And so realize that we're on this long trajectory of collective awakening, where people are awakening and they're healing, and then they have to face the shadow of that's been repressed for so long. And that is heavy duty work. And if wherever you're at in that journey, get coached. You don't have to come into Alchemical Goddess, which is my coaching program, but get coached somewhere. But if you'd like to come into Alchemical Goddess, it's astrological shamanic coaching. It's my own creation of 32 plus years of doing multiple work in psychology, depth psychology, dreams, the shadow, and somatic healing, and deep ancient wisdom and healing and metaphysics and so forth, and coaching and real actual coaching and real thought work and emotions work and trauma work and all of that. So you can book a complimentary goddess call at thegoddessastrologer.com if you'd like to apply, and we can see if it's the right fit for you. I don't take just any clients, has to be the right fit for me and for you. And there are limited spaces for that, but feel free to book that. And there's just so much positive though. There is today still the sextile between Saturn and Chiron, and it's very much this sceptile is otherworldly. It's very much otherworldly. It's out of this world. So it's uniqueness, it's Uranus, it's unique ideas. It is not the status quo. It is creativity at the heights. It is like flashes of insight. And with it being Saturn and Chiron, it's like the wound, and it's like around your courage, around the adventure, around being independent and being an individuated person, an independent person that's not codependent, that's not people pleasing, that is not getting held up by other people, like in relationship in a healthy way where there's no attachments in the relationship. That's what humanity will be working on starting next summer when the North Node goes into Aries. So we want to prepare now to use all this Aries energy of Mars at home in Aries and Jupiter expanding that Aries energy even way more than Mars even being so, making it so strong here. And then Salacia, Neptune's wife here, the mermaid energy, the sparkly photonic light coming into the planet, that mermaid energy in at 8 degrees, that commitment to that mermaid, to that sparkling photonic light, to the light. Aries, the adventure for the light, the spiritual warrior, the light warrioress, the light goddess. This is the light goddess right here. And so that Aries energy is teaching us how to be assertive. No, I don't like it. Yes, I do. I was in a restaurant tonight. This girl put like this one waitress, she's just not a keen waitress, like understanding like what makes the dining experience good from the diner's, from the guest point of view. Like when you come and slam this big thing of towels on this bar, it's not like a regular bar, it's more like they have their wait staff behind it and then you're sitting on this other side. But just slam the towels down that they're going to roll silverware with, and it's just like this big boom, and it's like that really kind of breaks up the ambiance for the client, who's paying to be there, for the environment, for the ambiance, for the meal, for all of it, right? And she's doing some things great, but she's like reaching over me all the time and like telling the other server to hand her the salt, to hand her this pitcher of water. I finally just said, can you stop reaching over me to get these items? Like I'm trying to enjoy the ambiance of where I'm sitting, and enjoy my meal here, like this, and she didn't like it, but anyway, she went away, so it was good. But this other gal, like, she asked me if she could roll silverware there, and I was like, no, I'd prefer not. Like, I'm trying to enjoy my meal here, I'm just like, no. So I owned my no. I I said something to someone else. This gal sat down next to me, and she was ordering and talking to the waitress, and she was saying, oh, but like she was ordering, she's like, but oh, sorry, I didn't tell you before. Can you bring me plates? So first of all, she's like telling, like she's in her mind thinking she should have told the girl before to bring her plates. Like she should have known what she wanted before she knew what she wanted. And then she like apologized profusely. This is what's going to kick people's ass come next summer, because all that bullshit, all that Libra people pleasing, all that Libra codependence, all that Libra unhealthy relationships, all that Libra shadow side is going to be coming up for humanity massively. So we need to do the work on the Scorpio North Node as guides for humanity, as the white goddess, and guides with our clients and our audience and our people and our lives and all that, but also within ourselves individually, to be super strong for when that Libra South Node comes into place next summer. Because this Scorpio South Node is about psychologizing, it's about the dark side of life, it's about healing the wounds, healing what is preventing you from having the rebirth in all areas of your life. It's the Pluto death, it's that, whatever's in the deep unconscious, the subconscious, what's suppressed, what's where you've been oppressed and suppressed and just not been alive and just been turned off and just like not like disassociated, and where you're psychologizing, where you're up in the psychodynamics and dramas of relationships. We want to heal that stuff now while we have the North Node in Taurus. Go towards simplicity, go towards peace, go towards great meals, go towards abundance, go towards having worth, having value in yourself, and always going into whatever is blocking that and moving it and saying, no, I'm not going to let anything block my highest self-worth. I'm going to keep checking and saying, why am I not putting myself first? Why am I putting my kids first and not me? Your kids cannot be taken amazing care of and will not actually have a role model of how to be in their amazing self-worth if you are not in yours, if you are not there. And if you are not taking care of you first and you're not number one, then you aren't there. And so you're not actually taking care of your kids at the highest level. That it's people have gotten spelled, especially women have gotten spelled to take care of everybody first except themselves, and then they think they're being the great mother. There's this great mother spell. No, you are not there for your kids if you're not first. You are first, because if you're not alive, that's just obviously one way to say it, but I mean it spiritually, mentally, physically, in your heart, in your body, all your needs met, your joy being met, your pleasure being met, your time in stillness, your time alone. So many women have woken up that they had like twins and or had, like 3 kids, or, had the new baby, and it's a lot. And everybody just really discounts what that is, and the work involved, and the constant mental like tuned inness that you have to be on point constantly with your mind. People don't realize that, and it's parenting is so discounted in our society, or it's done in really weird ways that aren't actually serving humanity. And so when women are caring for their children, it's like they go into these pathways that have been laid that are like the okay pathways to try to get some value for the good, amazing, important work that women do as mothers, and dads, but I'm talking to women here to grow amazing humans and to give them a chance to be in the light and to be on that leading edge of bringing humanity forward and having an amazing life for themselves and doing something of their soul and being someone that is not suppressed and not sublimated and not having all these wounds and all these issues, right? And of course, every soul has their journey and has their karma and has their journey. So, I mean, children have their own soul trajectory as well and chose their life and the hardships and the different things they'll face as well. But you understand what I'm saying. So it's like we have to, when you know you're going towards peace and abundance and love and the divine feminine and feeling your emotions and sleeping when you're tired and eating when you're hungry and just that peacefulness, that stillness, that out in nature, the trees, the animals, the flowers, the amazing food, the garden, the simpler parts of life, you're in this Taurus North node, and that's what humanity needs to do right now. And we need to use this Aries energy to be assertive, to say what we want. Don't sit there and say you're sorry at a restaurant for asking for what you want. It's a simple example, but apply that to everywhere in your life where you're apologizing for doing normal things of like asking for what you need and want. You don't have to fucking apologize for asking for what you need and want. Ask for a freaking extra plate. I need a side plate. Thanks. I want to pick all this shit out of my food that I don't want, or whatever it is for you. It's like, this is what I need. Like, I asked for 2 extra sides. I asked for extra lettuce because it had mayonnaise on it. I didn't know it, and I don't eat mayonnaise. And, and I asked for, I told him, I don't like this. I want this, please. And it was just like, I was just practicing too, like, just, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. No, please. I'm eating, I'm paying for this ambiance. I had like this peach burger too. It was really fucking good, but I would order it totally different next time. But anyways, they got to do better. Places really got to do grass-fed beef. Like, come on, people, get on top of this grass-fed beef. Like, stop using the shitty beef. Like, why even do it? That's my Taurus coming out. Anyways, let's pull cards. Oh, let me just show you Sunday. Sorry, I apologize. Let's finish this. So on Sunday, the moon will be moving into the higher degrees of Leo. So we'll have this grand cross in the chart for a little bit, which will feel like a lot of being pulled towards destiny, being pulled towards like where you got to clean up the wound, or maybe pulled into the wound, and pulled towards Saturn, where Saturn's asking us about, humanity, these higher degrees of humanity, and about our public self. And are we stepping into the highest frequency of our public self? Are we stepping into that highest vision, the highest purpose and calling of who we want to be in the world, of our calling, our mission? That's what these high degrees of Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius is. It's our sacred calling. Calling still feels like it's from the external, though. It's our sacred purpose, but that purpose has to come from inside you. It can't come from other people's opinions or what people told you to do or what people think is right. That has to come from within you, otherwise it will not be meaningful. And most women, to unravel the purpose, we have to unravel meaninglessness and in the things that have happened along our journey. So we have Juno and Pisces, and it's just this energy of, loving love and just wanting to relate at those deeper spiritual soul intimate levels. That moon is gonna, move towards Virgo for the beginning of next week. We'll get into that at that time. Eros and the sun are conjunct, so it's just the sun, that vitality, but it's very much in the mind. It's very mental, but it's very much about the passion in life. And so it's like, what are the beliefs, what are the mentalities, what are the perceptions that make you passionate in your life and that help you keep that passion alive, keep that passion going day to day and moment to moment? How are you having fun and nurturing yourself? How are you spelling yourself and thinking you can't do what you want to do? That's like really important. So have faith. Faith is so important right now. Don't let the darkness come for you. Yes, we have to face the shadow, we have to face the emotions, but use your spiritual gig bag, get coached. Like, what are you doing to help yourself to move through it? This is the time we are healing. This is the time we're healing past life karma. This is the time where we are moving out of that, where we're learning how to trust in the good, which I don't think that most people have that on lock yet. I don't. I think most people are somewhere in that journey and maybe not even conscious that that's something that needs to take place to begin to like, I trust in the good, to actually start programming that belief in. I trust in the good. I trust in the good. It's normal for it to be good. It's normal for it to be wholesome. So I think that's something that humanity is really dealing with right now. Have faith in the good, and have faith in your soul leading you with your intuition right on the best trajectory. Even if it looks like things are falling apart, it falls apart to fall back together again. And what falls apart was not meant for your timeline, but you may be so attached to it that that's where all the grief and the difficulties coming up, and you have to go through that grief and you have to face it and feel it, and it's okay. You are a healer. It is time for healing, but you are also the light goddess healing others. You have powerful gifts to heal other people, and you're needed. You are needed. You can heal and do your own business and work on your stuff, all while healing yourself and doing your own work. You don't have to be at the top vision that you have for your business at this moment. You can be at this step, and then at the next step. That's Taurus. You just take one step at a time, and then another step. You don't build a house all at once. You build it step by step, 2x4 by 2x4. And that's that Taurus North Node. Beloved, prepare for your divine union. If you are wanting divine union in your life, this is about preparing for divine union, meaning that you go deep into the deepest self-love, into the deepest self-worth, and do that deep intimacy work with yourself. You face your shadow, you do your inner work, because that's what's preparing the way for you and your beloved to come together in a healthy relationship. Remember, next summer we start going and shedding the shadow. Right now we're shedding Scorpio shadow and going towards that North Node as humanity. Next year, next summer, we're going to be shedding the Libra shadow. When the South Node is in a sign, we look at it negatively. So it's not that Libra is negative or Scorpio is negative, but when the South Node is there, we look at it negative. We look at the shadow side of that sign, because that's what the South Node represents. It's the shadow. It's yes, there's some gifts. So we want to use the gifts of Scorpio right now, which is self-intimacy, good healthy boundaries. But Scorpio can be suspicious and just go hide away and not not trust, and not do the healing that's in the way of that. And that really limits the life and the connections and the beauty. Discernment. I was talking about spiritual discernment. Just because you're a warrior for the light does not mean that you just go letting people suck your energy dry, or just go hang out with anybody. If it's not a vibe match, get out of there. You don't have to be polite if somebody's sucking your energy and they're just weird, whatever. Just walk away. You just walk away. You just get out of situations where there's dark. You don't hang out in situations where there's dark. You don't hang around with people that don't have anything to offer you, that they're not at the same level as you. They're not working for something higher. They're not trying to do something with their life. They're drinking and drugging. They're partying. They're going out all the time. They're not doing things that feed and nurture light and joy in the soul. And they're not doing higher things that matter. And they're not doing things that are really like mastering something in life and doing something of purpose and of meaning. They're just kind of like, just la la la, living that spell, living that matrix life. So you don't have to be, you don't have to shun people or put them down wherever they're at on their soul trajectory, or wherever they're at in their slumber. But you can say, no, I'm going to find my soul tribe of other people who are on that purpose, on that mission, and doing that higher life, that higher lifestyle, which doesn't mean go out and have fun, but it's like, are you drinking and drugging and doing all that stuff all the time and just trying to cope? So I keep getting the hope card. There's really something here about having faith, stepping into that optimism, believing. What is it that's going to raise that hope for you? What is it that is Is there grief that you need to let go of? Is there anger coming up? Because anger is coming up big for my clients, for the women I'm encountering, for myself, for most of the people I know are having some aggro and aggression. There's anger coming up, and we need to shed that as humanity. That's what causes war, is the anger that's repressed. And it's repressed because there's been 5,000 years of suppressing the feminine, which the feminine is in all people. So when you suppress the feminine, she gets angry, and there is anger and hurt and sadness and deep despair and grief there for humanity to be shedding. And we do that individual work that does it for all of humanity. So we got cycles. This is a beautiful card, realizing that there's cyclical renewal. There is the dark moon phase. So we got this faith card, have faith, and then we got the cycles card that realize that we go in cycles. There's a cyclical renewal. So we go through a balsamic moon phase in life, in all areas of our life, in our creativity, in our eating, in our relationships. We go through these cycles where there's that balsamic moon phase where it's the time leading up to the 3 days of the dark moon. So when we're leading up to the 3 days of the dark moon, we're going inward. The moon's going dark, waning, and it's balsamic, meaning that it's this period of just deep inner reflection in the shadow and facing the dark, going in and down into the dark and facing the hell realms. And so realize that that's not forever. That's just part of the cycle. Then we go through 3 days of the dark moon, where it's that deep reflection and that potential kinetic energy, growing energy and purifying. So then bam, the light comes back and starts waxing to that full moon and that brightest full moon. And then it'll slowly start waning again, and then go into balsamic, and then go into the new moon, the dark moon again. So we have to realize that all of life is cyclical renewal, even at the soul level. Particularly at the soul level, lifetime after lifetime, we've had lifetime after lifetime, and this lifetime is different. This is a great awakening. This is the golden age. This is the time where we are creating the new mythos. We are bringing the light and changing over from the dark times to the light times. We have had these cycles throughout history. You can look back through the precession of the equinox, and we've had it, and astrology proves it. And we've come out of the dark now, and we're moving into the light, but we have to transform through the darkness. We have to feed our light, and we have to bring more love, and we have to transform through the darkness. We got sanctuary. Where is your sanctuary, that you can get that stillness, that you always have this sanctuary within that you can go to no matter what's happening? And it can't be food, and it can't be drugs, and it can't be alcohol. It's got to be getting a great night's sleep. It's got to be your spiritual gig bag full of, like, I go to the woods, I go for hikes, I go play with friends, I go roller skating, I go surfing, I do something fun and novel, I feed my curiosity, I read interesting books, I peruse the bookstore, or I take myself out to meal, or whatever it is. It's so important to make sure that you have that sanctuary where you're also getting stillness time of just journaling as a woman and getting it out. Anger. So I'm just telling you that anger has been coming up. Find the healthy ways to release anger. We need healthy ways to release anger. Anger is not wrong. It's not bad. It's just one of it's one of the full spectrum, all of the range of human emotions that we feel. And we must find the healthy, beautiful ways to release anger, and to do it in a way that helps us understand that it's messages for us, and what we need to understand about it being there, and about it having been suppressed and pushed down. So I'm sending you so much love for this weekend. This was a powerful reading, and I hope that this serves you. You can book an astrology reading at thegoddessastrologer.com. I do card readings every day on my Instagram at Peace Hotep, and all the links are right there, really easy to reach. So you can do that as well. The Light Goddess podcast, the sun sign horoscopes, are every Monday. Please like this video so that more women can find it. I really appreciate that. And I hope that these videos are serving you. Lots of love.